What's going on, everyone? It's your guy, Cole Jackson, back with an episode of The Film Room where we're going to be diving into Alejandro Villanueva's debut for your Baltimore Ravens. If you're sitting there and you love watching film breakdowns in the trenches, go ahead, click that like button and hit subscribe so you can find your way back for more. The reception to the first video I dropped yesterday was overwhelmingly positive. I appreciate all of you out there, and I'm ready to get back into more. We're going to be diving into 4 plays here for Villanueva. So as a context note, as we can see, we're looking at quite literally half of Villanueva's plays from Saturday. Stats brought to you here, courtesy of @Yoshi2052 on Twitter. So he only played 8. I found 4 that I think give us a really good idea of where he's at. And you guys might remember some of the commentary coming out of camp was that he was struggling a bit out of the gate. Context around that, he just switched positions, literally did a mirror image swap of his technique, switching from the left side to the right side. He's also, with some of these dudes that are just quite literally bigger dudes, we never know how they're going to do right out the gates. Sometimes you come into camp in shape, sometimes you come into camp to get in shape. It's hard to know not having the historical context of AV. We saw it with Orlando Brown Jr. quite a few times, or it took him a few weeks to kind of get in shape. So anyway, with that being said, I think he really turned it around. There's been more positive reports coming out. I think he had an up and down game. We're going to get into it. What I tried to do is I tried to grab a 2 run plays, 2 pass plays, 1 positive, 1 negative of each, and it kind of gives you an idea of where he's at. Overall, though, I would say he had a pretty solid day. He had 1 blown run block that we're going to see, and he had 1 bad pass snap, but not necessarily that detrimental. And we're going to see exactly why and what he can do to fix that up. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with the run block. So we're going to be looking at a negative play, then we'll finish on a positive play. Here we're going to see a very simple inside zone right play. AV is going to get out in space and try and reach level 2. So we're going to run it through once and then we'll break it down. That chop, sorry. Let me read. So there, and he's on the ground. All right. So let's take a look at what's going on here. Hold on. I blame all of this on Game Pass. All right. So what's going to happen is, it's an inside zone right play. AV right tackle here. It's going to try and get out into level 2. I believe this is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's been playing in their slot. Smaller DB type guy. Should be an easy block, but we're going to kind of see something that stood out to me over the years in terms of where he struggles as a run blocker, and that's creating leverage. So, it's a good time to bring up, guys that are familiar with O-line masterminds. One of their slogans is strike, leverage, drive, finish. And I think it's a great way to kind of think through the contact point for consistent technique of an offensive lineman. So you obviously want to strike, you want to hit your hands, get your hands on the guy. You want to create that leverage. You want to drive block them, and you want to finish. It's kind of a nice, simple 4-step process for a typical run block. So where Villanueva has always struggled, and this I know from watching him as a member of the Steelers, watching their film, it's creating that leverage. And a lot of that comes from he's 6'9", he's just bigger than everyone, and it's harder for him to create leverage. I think he does a poor job on this play of once he gets out in space, kind of breaking down and getting back. I'll always say get back into your shoot. So what that means is you've got out in space, you're standing up now you got to get low, get back into an engagement point, and I call it getting back in your shoot, because it's kind of that process of getting back into a run block. So what's going to happen here is, let me walk through this. One thing I think he does really well here is how fast he gets out. This is impressive. This is good athleticism. So he's out there, and then what he does is he should be at this point of the block right up here, trying to get him back into his shoot. And so I think he's too high here. Johnson gets nice and low. He's just going to try and tuck himself into the outside shoulder. He's working towards the edge here, and he's going to kind of just duck under Villanueva because he's so big. And so you see there, he ends up on the ground. He has no leverage on this play. We'll watch it again. So again, he needs to come out of this block. He needs to get low. And if, this is a great shot of it right here because you can see him too high on the inside shoulder of him, but his right hand, which you would want to be on the outside part of the chest plate, it's nowhere close. He's essentially attacking his inside shoulder on the side rather than his chest plate. And so these are blocks where it's going to take a while to get used to. These are things that Orlando Brown Jr. on the right side did so well. He would get out. He was really great at getting out quickly, getting back into his shoot, and then attacking the a DB or even a linebacker. So I think it's pretty clear to see what happened here. This is what he's going to struggle with. He needs to kind of clean up. So, and he's going to be asked to do a lot of these run blocks playing in Baltimore. So, I think if we want to sum it up, I think he needs to do a better job of creating leverage. This is a very unfortunate thumbnail where he's just kind of laying on the ground. Maybe I should have fixed that. Now we're going to take a look at a run play where I think he did a great job. Now, I want to take a second to talk about the play design here because I had to message, my guy, Michael Crawford, who, he literally knows this playbook. Like, he could probably get out there and play a few snaps. So this one confused me because this looks like a split zone to the left. So what that means is the offensive line would take zone block steps to the left. So all 5 guys would move to the left. Josh Oliver here, who is on the play side at the start of the play as a tight end, is going to cross block. And so on a split zone left, all the offensive linemen take a zone step left. The tight end comes across and he cracks the backside defensive end. So you can see from the thumbnail, and we'll see what happens when I play it, Villanueva goes out right. So I messaged him and I was like, is this a different play? Did Villanueva screw this up? There is a play that the Ravens have run where the right tackle, or it doesn't even have to be the backside offensive tackle, kicks out the backside defensive end. And essentially what the tight end does here is he fills this gap and goes into the second level, which is normally what the backside tackle would do. So this is always tough. We don't know the play that was called. We don't have access to it. We have to essentially look at everything that's happening in the play and make our best guess. I look at things like offensive lineman footwork because that's usually a really good way of figuring it out. We can look at blocking pass. There's things out there on the public web. I think it's the 2014 or 2013 playbook from Greg Roman when he was with the 49ers. It exists out there publicly where you can quite literally go look at Roman's plays when he was with the 49ers. And obviously because he's running a similar offense, we can see those plays being run here in Baltimore. So, based on everything I've looked at, I think Josh Oliver takes the wrong assignment here. Oliver should be cutting up and attacking the 2 linebackers here. If he hits one of those blocks, Dobbins makes a guy miss. That's essentially how this play is supposed to work. The way Villanueva comes out directly at the backside tackle, that would only tell me that, he went the complete wrong way. So, that's my opinion. I think Oliver took the wrong assignment. If you guys disagree, if you guys think, it was Oliver doing the right play, Villanueva screwed up, drop a comment, let me know what you think. So let's run this play through and take a look. So you can see there, Oliver goes at the same guy. And that means that those 2 linebackers come in essentially unblocked. So right here, Villanueva kicks out. Oliver would be bending it here to go between the right tackle and the right guard, attacking these linebackers. No one does it. So when Dobbins hits this cut block or cut back, because that's essentially how this block is going to work. He hits this cut block lane. Josh Oliver's your lead blocker. He attacks this linebacker. Dobbins, works off that block. He has some open space. But what I want to look at here is Villanueva's block, because this is just a beautiful, savvy vet play. So Villanueva is going to go right at the backside defensive end, and he's going to hit him with a snatch. Look at that. That is a vet play right there. That is what we want to see from Villanueva. he's going to stand up. He's going to come out of his stance. This defensive end is going to be high. And this is something that I think we're going to see with Villanueva, and you see with taller offensive tackles, is guys are going to come in, they're going to try and get low. What's the best thing that a taller offensive tackle can do to a guy that's going to try and attack that leverage point? Hit him with a snatch, throw him on his butt. Boom. Like, that's perfect. That's a great read by Villanueva. He executes it perfectly. You know, like I said, if I think Oliver ran this wrong, if he runs that right, you know, maybe Dobbins makes a guy miss, gets some yards here. You know, these are things we're going to see with, you know, preseason, guys learning the playbook, guys new to the team. It happens. We'll move into 2 pass plays now. So when we're looking at pass pro from Alejandro Villanueva, I guess the question is, what has made Villanueva the player that he is? And it's really been pass protection. He was never known as a great run blocker. He was a solid pass protecting left tackle, you know, big guy, long reach, uses his athleticism well. Where he struggles is, again, when we're getting into that strike, leverage, drive, finish, it's creating leverage. Sheer size. If you guys listen to the offensive line preview I did with Brandon Thorne, we talked about it on it. He's just so much bigger than other guys that it's harder for him to anchor for long periods of times. If guys kind of, you know, get him into, you know, where they're driving back, he just loses leverage because of his size. So what Villanueva does, and what he's done for years and he's done so well, is he beats his man to his spot. He uses quick foot speed. He's got great play speed. He processes well, gets to his point. He gets low, hits a nice strike, uses his length, drops his anchor as best as he can. But it's using that foot speed to get to the point early. And that means that he doesn't have to, you know, try and refit his hands as much. And so we're going to see on the negative play here, and I saw this play referred to as a pressure. I think I tweeted, you know, Villanueva had a good day, didn't let any pressures come in his 4 pass snaps. Someone responded and said this play was a pressure. You know, I define a pressure as the quarterback being affected. And so you'll see the ball comes out to Trace McSorley's first read here. You know, he wasn't affected by any of the pressure. And even if he was, you know, you'll see when I run this, if he had to go to a second progression, and that means the ball isn't coming out right away, he'd probably be stepping up in the pocket here. Now, Villanueva does end up on the ground. Let's run it through and take a look. So you see there. Now, so the question is, what does Villanueva do wrong here? I really gotta stop hitting that button. Sorry. Okay, so exactly what I'm talking about. Villanueva is already out of his set. He's getting to his spot. See, look at it's hard to see because we don't have all 22, but he just moves so well. And there, so he's reached his spot. He knows he's going to set. He's going to go into that strike part of strike live drive or strike leverage drive finish. He's going to hit that strike. And so what he does though, is when he hits that strike, it looks like and again, we can't tell because we don't have the end zone angle. It looks like his outside hand is too wide. And so that allows him to lose his leverage. He doesn't get it inside enough. He doesn't get that ability to create torque in his elbows, which kind of keeps his hands in tight, keeps those handcuffs in. So what happens is the defensive end runs through his outside like that. And then just, you know, you can see it right here as the ball is coming out. You know, he's going to end up on the ground. He just leverages through that outside shoulder. So again, look at Trace though so, you know, he's reads, ball comes out, you know, well-placed ball, completion. I don't call that a pressure. You know, do I call this a positive play from Villanueva? No, because I think, you know, that specifically creating that leverage and then getting into a point where you can kind of jack him up and finish your block. You know, he's not able to do that because he doesn't create the leverage. And he ends up on the ground there. So, you know, again, if Trace has to step up, we don't know how that play is going to go. You know, maybe he steps up, delivers a strike. Maybe he steps up and gets strip sacked because, you know, the defensive end through Villanueva. But I think you can see very clearly what happens there. And the nice thing is we're going to move into the next play, which was a more positive play, is we can see him create that leverage, and it's a much better block. Now, this actually turns into a draw play. This is the 3rd and 5 on the first drive that the Ravens had the ball, and it is a quarterback drive. So you may be wondering, why are we showing this in the pass pro section? Well, the offensive linemen are taking pass pro footwork. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about with the creation of leverage. I think it, even though it's a run play, technically, I think it shows him in pass pro. Defensive end is reading pass pro, attacking as if it's a pass. So, let's look at it from that lens. So again, right here, he beats him to his spot, and these right here, watch his feet. Chop, 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 chop. That's perfect. Like that is what has made Villanueva so good. That is what we need to see from him moving forward. But watch his hands. His hands are inside there. His right hand is more inside. His left hand is more inside. He has control. He creates that leverage. Makari comes in here and does give him help. I don't think he necessarily needed it. I think he had that. He had the leverage that when he comes to attack inside, the ball is going to be out. It didn't help that Powers is getting beat inside here, which is not what we want on any play. That foot, Powers' right foot being back is not good. But you see the difference in creating leverage, regardless of getting help. So that's where we're at, folks. Quick video here. We got to look at quite literally half of the plays that Alejandro Villaneuva played. But I think it gives you a good sample. It shows what he did well, what he didn't do well. Now, what do you guys think? What do you think about Alejandro Villaneuva? Is he meeting your expectations? Do you want to see more? Drop a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, if you want more shorter videos like that, hit the like button. That's what communicates with me best. Or, simply let me know. And if you want to sub up so that you find your way back for more videos, hit subscribe. We'll be back next week for Saturday's preseason game against the Carolina Panthers. Again, like I said in yesterday's video, I'm going to be breaking down the left guard battle every week. But, videos of interest like this where we can kind of look at a new player, maybe we'll deep dive Bozeman at center. I'm happy to do it. If you guys want to hear it, let me know. Your feedback is going to drive me into giving you guys what you need. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Peace out, everyone.